My special guest, Mike, he has an awesome holiday light show he's built completely by himself.
Oh, it is a lot of work. Not only is it a lot of work, but every year when you put it back up, something doesn't work quite right. And you have to figure out exactly what you did 2 years ago to make that work.
What it costs? Now, I know you spent a lot, and I don't want to, you don't have to say what you spent, but like if someone wants to start out and do a nice, basic, synced up light show.
The LEDs are really inexpensive. They're maybe $20 per 100, $15 per 100, something like that. The expensive part is the...
Welcome to another edition of Technical Difficulties, our Smartish Home podcast. I'm your host, Pete, along with Brandon and Vince, my co-hosts. Today's episode, we're going to be giving you our takes on the latest smart home headlines, and we're going to be spending some time talking about smart home holiday lighting. And we have a special guest today. I'm going to be interviewing my friend who has an awesome holiday display in front of his house. It's synced up with music and all the lights. It's really amazing. And he's going to be telling us how, if you want to do something like that yourself, what it takes to do that, and cost, all that sort of thing. So yeah, look forward to that. It's very cool. We'll show you some videos on that. But before we get to that, let's hear a word from Zooz, our new sponsor of our show. Zooz makes quality smart home devices you can depend on. They are pioneers in the Z-Wave industry that you can always turn to for the latest Z-Wave tech. Zooz always puts the customer first with excellent support and user-friendly documentation. Now, I can attest to this. I did my DC smoke detector video. The documentation was excellent. Helped me write out. Really made that video easy to make. So now, in fact, Zooz recently launched a new online community forum where you can find firmware updates, new product releases, weekly deals, and much more. And you can find that at zoozcommunity.com. Zooz offers almost every type of smart home device you can imagine, including sensors, switches, smart plugs, button controllers, smart relays, water valves, and even their own smart hub, the Zooz Z-Box Hub. Now, we've used a lot of Zooz devices in our homes, and I think we all agree that their combination of quality, technology, and affordability can't be beat. Zooz is leading the way in Z-Wave long range, and if you haven't tried Z-Wave long range, it's actually pretty phenomenal. It especially if you're trying to automate things in like your garage or a shed or something like that. The range is really great. Now, you can find the best prices on Zooz products at thesmartesthouse.com. We're going to put a link to that in the description. And thank you, Zooz, for continuing to sponsor and make this podcast possible. So
yeah, very fitting for today's topic as well. You can use the switches to give constant power and do different scenes. You could use the plugs as well. So yeah, a lot of use cases there.
I have a Zooz recommendation actually for our holiday lighting when we get to that. But first, let's get to the news.
I've actually been finding that a lot of these big companies like Ring and MyQ, they're actually like taking things away from your subscription. So like you're buying a product, say a doorbell or a garage door opener, and then now things that you were able to do before, you can't, or the cost is rising. And so it really begs the question of like, should you move everything to like local control, and is it worth buying things that are cloud-based? So what are your thoughts?
Anytime you can get something local, it's better. Number one, for reliability purposes. Obviously, you don't have to go to the cloud. And then, yeah, two is subscription costs, right? Like, it seems like everything you get has a subscription these days. And I get why they do it. I mean, back in the day, if you bought a hammer, right, like, there's no upkeep for the hammer, right? Like, you buy the hammer, you can use the hammer. But when you buy software and technology-related things, there's constant firmware updates. And, that costs money on their end. So they either need to continue to sell more products and to cover the cost of their old product support, or they need a subscription model. But yeah, how many subscriptions do you have? It's
too many.
Yeah.
My wife and I cut the cord without cutting the cord. So we still have the cord, but we have all these different streaming services as well. And so you think about that. And then as a product tester, it's like, okay, I have a Ring subscription, but then, if I'm testing other devices, do I need to keep getting those? So it's kind of hard to keep up on sometimes.
Yeah, it is. And then if they're, like you said, they're cutting back some of the services they're already offering with those subscriptions, it's kind of...
Yeah, like Arlo is that way. When they first came out, it was really popular. And now I just can't recommend them because the base model, like what you get, it's all behind a paywall. So that's frustrating. In our house, we're kind of trying to move away from that. And so we switched to the Real Link doorbell, which I really enjoy, and it records locally. And then I've actually been recommending Eufy cameras quite a bit, again, for that local storage. So.
So it's all. Do they have cloud services you can subscribe to as well, or is it all?
I think with Eufy they do. I'm not sure about Real-Link. I just do everything locally with Real-Link.
Yeah.
But you can still access it from your phone remotely, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah. Obviously, if you can avoid subscriptions, that's the way to go.
Yeah, it's something definitely to think about because sure it's on sale for Prime Day or Black Friday, but then you've got that reoccurring cost over time. So
yeah. All right. So for my news item today, the Lockley Visage Smart Lock. It's the first smart lock that unlocks using your face. I did make a video on that if you want to see that technology at work. But yeah, that facial technology is really amazing. So my question for you is facial recognition the best method for unlocking your front door? And how would the perfect lock unlock if it's not facial technology?
if it's not facial technology. Okay, so I've watched your video. I thought you did a really good job with that. And I thought, maybe you could dupe it, right? Like a picture or like a video. But clearly it's using some sort of like facial points, dots. It's not a camera.
Right. I tried to hold a picture. Even I actually recorded a video of so it was live. I recorded a video and held it up on my face, and it was not fooled by
I wonder
that.
if you had like a cast of your face, if you could. We're gonna have to try that next.
Definitely. You know what?
We're gonna go next level Hollywood on this and see if we can trick this lock.
I like it.
But I think face is good. It's impressive how quick it was. That's
the thing for me. Like literally, it's behind my screen door. So once I open that, it recognized my face fast enough. Basically, by the time I reach for the doorknob, it's open. So it's like I don't even have to think about it essentially, and I don't have to be carrying anything. Like locks that open with a sensor or something in your phone. If that's also great if you're carrying something, or sometimes they're geofencing or whatnot. But again, you have to be carrying your phone for it to work. The face, you always have your face. I think you always have your face, and so it just works. So I don't know if there's a better It's awesome. It really is awesome. So I don't know what lock technology how it could advance. Beyond that.
So we've tested tons of locks, obviously. And fingerprint is great, but sometimes it struggles with like weather, if it's cold, or when kids can, sometimes it doesn't work the best for, or you didn't map all your fingers and now you're using a different hand. So I usually just end up using the pin, but what I think the future is going to be is the ultra wideband technology. So built into your phone, built into your watch, and that's directional based, so it knows that like you're approaching the door. Then it wouldn't unlock when you're like in your driveway or something.
I like that because I don't have automations that automatically unlock the door based on geofencing, just because there's the chance that it might accidentally trigger as you're on your way out, or you might miss. So I don't do that. But if it had that kind of technology, I think that would be pretty
and then
cool.
I also like Apple Key as well. So it's using NFC, and even if your phone's dead, you can still open the door.
Yeah.
Putting it up there. So those are the ways. And then it's always good to have a mechanical backup just in case, or at least another door you could use.
I suppose.
I've heard instances where people have like a condo and that lock dies, and they're like, even if it has a battery backup, you still got to go.
Right, you got to run to Walmart and grab a 9-volt battery.
And now they're switching to it's like USB-C. Like, okay, like now I need a
cord
and a battery. Like that's actually harder. Like just stick with the 9-volt. But it's a pretty impressive lock. The price on that one is a little steep for some people.
It is expensive. So hopefully it comes down. Hopefully more locks will offer that technology at some point. But unlocking a door with your face right now, there's no better way as far as I'm concerned. So that's it for our news headlines today. And let's move on to our main topic. First of all, what do you guys do for holiday lighting, smart home related? Are you big into holiday lights?
Yeah, so I'm kind of Scrooge, and I actually don't do anything. I probably should, but I haven't.
All right, well, you can sit this one out. So, Vince, what?
I actually got quite a bit, and I pretty much year-round lighting. So I have the Govee outdoor permanent lights.
Okay.
I have some of the Hue spotlights, the Ballard lights, smart bulbs. I got quite a bit of stuff going on. I got those Govee curtain lights that I keep up year-round over my garage.
Right?
If you want another one, let me know.
When I do, I'll take another one. I have another spot I can put them up. And then I change it based on, obviously, the season. But this is obviously the most active season. You got Thanksgiving and Halloween and Christmas and stuff like that. So lots of fun stuff to kind of put up.
Hanukkah.
Yeah.
What do you got, Pete?
Well, I'm not as advanced as you. I mean, I basically, right now what I've got with my holiday lights is I've got smart plugs, right? I've got smart plugs for a Christmas tree. I've got smart plugs for outside. And I do have my LEDs inside that I can adjust for the holidays, right? Based on the colors and things like that. But so based on, our knowledge, not his knowledge, he knows nothing about this. But I just kind of want to start, like, what are some basic smart home Christmas lighting basics for those that have a smart home and want to get into it? For me, the basics are you got to get an outdoor plug. I mean, they used to have the timers with the little windy things or whatever, right? Which work okay, but it's nice if you get a nice outdoor plug. I know Zooz has a good outdoor plug if you want to get something like that. Relatively, at this point they're about the same price as the little timers were. So yeah, those work really great, and I've got one inside for my Christmas tree lights as well. So those are just the basics if you want to do something like that. Have you used I know Twinkly has some like lights for their trees. Govee has some new lights for the trees that you can automate and things like that. You have any of those in your house?
Yeah, so Govee sent me their new Christmas tree light 2s to test out. And then I also have the twinkly lights as well. So I didn't feel like taking my Christmas tree out just yet to test them out. So, but to kind of be interesting to see what the differences are between the twinkly and the Govee Christmas lights.
So friend of the show, Mark, recommended Twinklies, I believe. My experience with Twinkly, a friend of mine has them, and he's very disappointed with the Wi-Fi
feature.
No, the Wi-Fi connectivity, and that might have just been his Wi-Fi might suck. I don't know, but he says they didn't work to his satisfaction. So, what's your experience?
I didn't have any issues with the Wi-Fi. I would say like the AI function where you basically wrap the Christmas tree up with the lights, and then you use the app to take like a picture of it, so it can locate all of the lights, and then you can create like some lighting features. That's probably not as good as it can be or should be. It's also kind of one of those things, you take a picture of the front side of the tree, but the back side, or like, so if you have a tree that's like maybe like 3 sides is all showing, it's like not in a corner, like you're not going to have the best view on all sides. It's just going to be like, half of the tree. So, but other than that, like the lights are lots of different options with different lighting features and functions. But that would probably be my only gripe with those. And the Govee ones I haven't tested yet, but they also have the same AI function with those, so that's going to be cool to see if it's any better than Twinklies. I can tell you they're a lot cheaper than Twinkly lights.
They are a lot. Yeah, those Twinklies they're like $300 or something to light up your
$50.
If you have the Twinkly lights or you got other things in your house, what would you say would take your automations to the next level in your house as far as automations? Like I said, I basically just have a couple of things on timers. I do have a couple scenes in my house with buttons that you can trigger. The lights turn on automatically on the Christmas tree. But if you want Christmas scene, right? You're like, it's Christmas mood. I do have a button in my house you can press that'll trigger the Christmas lights to turn on. It'll turn the LEDs in the cabinets to a red and green Christmas color. It'll turn on the Christmas music on the Sonos. And it'll even turn the fireplace on, right? Ooh. Yeah, I know.
If you don't have a fireplace, you could use the Roku TV, and they've got the.
God, I hate
background.
That. No,
I only say that because their TV here in the office had that, and we're like, "What should we put on?"
Why we should take advantage for the show. What are we doing?
Samsung has that too on their own TV. Samsung TV also has that, and then DirecTV also has that. I don't know if it's just like popular or what, but like it's everywhere. The crackling log.
Heck yeah. When we do our holiday parties here, they'll put that on. Have you guys seen the one where it's like puppies and they're like attacking the packages?
Yeah.
No, I've not seen that.
It's like endless videos of puppies. Yeah.
It's like they just bring in more puppies.
Puppy Bowl Christmas. Nice.
No, they just destroy everything. It's great.
So, all right. I want to go now. Like I said, we've done our basics. You've done your slightly advanced. I want to go to our interview. I interviewed my friend who has one of the most amazing light setups you'll ever see. It's all synced to lights. He does a Halloween show. He does a Christmas show. It's pretty incredible. And I want you guys to just hear what he has to say and just hear what it takes to put some. I mean, it's something you can do. It is something you can do if you're willing to put in time and put in some investment, and it's really cool. So let's go to my interview with Mike right now. With us today is my special guest, Mike. He has an awesome holiday light show he's built completely by himself, or with your family. I know, with your family. And it's awesome, and we just want to talk to him. So you guys, if you're interested in doing something fabulous, unlike what we talked about earlier, you might get an idea of what it's all about. So Mike, welcome to our podcast.
Oh, thanks for having me, Pete.
I've seen your show. I've bring the kids every year. It's pretty awesome. I even helped you last year with the big tree. That was
the big mega tree. That's right.
So you have permanent lights, right, on the outside of your house?
Yep, we have permanent lights on the outside of the house, and then every year we have a bunch of props we set up, and then we tear them down in the spring and store them for until the next year.
First of all, how long have you been doing this? How long have you been doing the light show?
We started actually on Halloween of 2020. And it was our family COVID project. The kids were doing homeschool, whatever. We were working from home, and we had no activities, no kids sports or anything. So we decided we needed a project, and we decided that a holiday light show would be our project.
And you went big right away, right?
Well, we thought we did. When we look back, what we built was actually very, very small. But at the time, it felt really big.
So this would be your fifth year doing it, right?
I think this is, our fourth or fifth year, something like that, doing it. Maybe our fifth year. Yeah, I think you're right.
And you add to it a little bit every year?
A little bit every year, yeah. So in 2021, we also had a lot of time, obviously, since the world was shut down. So we built a giant LED screen. You can buy like LED panels that are 6 inches by 12 inches. We wired like 30 of those together with a Raspberry Pi equivalent thing, whatever, figured out how to build a structure that holds it all together. And then we hang that above the garage.
How did you figure this all out? I know you're a very smart guy, right? You have a very technical background. But like, what made you think you could do this? Or were you watching other videos, or where did you get the inspiration?
There's a bunch of videos on YouTube and elsewhere. Obviously, this whole industry seems to be very much an industry of small businesses that kind of started. People built controllers, they built props, they figured out how to wire it all together. And so there's a ton of free videos and information. And then when you buy, there's actually really great support. There's like live Zoom rooms that get run by community members helping each other out. And then obviously tons of forums and stuff where you can see what challenges people have, because you're usually not the first person who's run into any given problem.
Right, but you're not going to Walmart and buying this stuff, right?
No, the LEDs we just buy on Amazon. You just buy like long strings of LEDs. But then the controllers, there's a couple companies. There's one called Falcon. There's one called I think I have the Hinks Picks, which is from HolidayCoro.com. So there's a couple small businesses that sell these things, but they're certainly not mass market, not available on Amazon or at Walmart or anything.
All these are synced up to music and things. And unfortunately, we're not going to be able to play the music on our channel, but we'll show some clips of your show, and people just understand that the music is amazing and it's totally synced up to it. How are you programming this in? I mean, you have to do a lot of coding to get this all synced up, or how does that work?
So very, very little coding. There's an open source program called X Lights that you download. You sequence it to the music, similar to how you would do like an iMovie or something, where you've got time on the horizontal axis, and then you've just got a bunch of individual elements. So maybe you have the outline of the house, you have like a snowman, you have a pumpkin, whatever. And the software takes care of all the mapping, so you can like do a whole house effect, and it figures out how to map it to everything. You program like the face of a pumpkin or of a singing element, and then you can sync that up to essentially the words that it's singing, so you're able to have it like look like the pumpkin singing, or look like Olaf the snowman is singing, or whatever.
And that's just all like plugins that you kind of download
Yeah. Yep, all included basically. So you buy these props from these like companies. Somebody has done the work to map it, to figure out how, which specific LEDs make the O of a mouth versus the different shapes of the mouth for different parts of the words, or whatever that is.
Sure. Okay. All right. So let's break this down a little bit. There's the putting it on your house side, the construction side, if you will, and there's the programming side of it, right? So
Yep.
how much time, if someone's getting started, let's say your first year, right? Just your first year with your basic plan, right? How much time did you invest getting it set up, and how much time did you invest in the programming of that using this X Lights to get a functioning show?
Yeah, I think, I have no memory. It was a big project for a long time for us. Just
So about
because we had
about
so
3
much
hours,
time.
4 hours, maybe.
3-4 hours, I would say you were pretty much done. Yeah. No, I think somebody could get started. If you bought 3 or 4 props, maybe you buy a couple little mini trees or a couple singing things. You probably would be a couple days worth of time in to be able to get everything wired up, get everything set up mechanically, and then a couple evenings or maybe a week of evenings or something like that to figure out how to use the software, how to work through getting the LEDs to work and stuff.
Okay, and figuring out the software. I know you're a engineer, right? This is up your alley. But how technical do you have to be to understand how to use the X Lights and program the lights?
The X Lights itself, I think, is not terribly technical. My kids have done this. We've actually had some of my kids' friends program songs, so that part is actually very accessible. When you have a small show, it's actually very easy. As you add things, like we probably have 30 to 40 elements in our show at this point. So that can get very, very tedious simply because there are a lot of little moving parts that you want to get right. But if you start small, use something that, a 10 or 12-year-old could get into with a little bit of help. But it does help to have somebody who's either done a lot of work with like an iMovie or done work with something technical, just because you do run into small little problems that you got to figure out how to work through.
Sure. And I remember one problem you had. You were out of town, and I had to go and fix your flip a switch at your house.
That's right. Sometimes switches need to get flipped, and I didn't have my smart home at the time, so it wasn't hooked up. But now it's easier.
What about cost? Now, I know you spent a lot, and I don't want to, you don't have to say what you spent, but like if someone wants to start out and do a nice, basic, synced up light show,
I would guess that to get started, the LEDs are really inexpensive. They're maybe $20 per 100, $15 per 100, something like that. So the LEDs are not the expensive part. The expensive part is the controllers are kind of bespoke and unique. So you're probably talking $400 to $600 to buy the kind of the main controller box. And then each of the props that maybe holds a couple hundred LEDs is probably on the order of $50 or $75, something like that. So, I would think that I wouldn't get started if you weren't going to, I would expect you would spend $1,000 at a minimum to get started.
Okay, but it's not like 10, 50, it's not like $10,000 or $15,000 to get started, right?
Oh, no, nowhere close to $10,000 or $15,000 to get started. It's not cheap, but it's not it's not a major investment to get started. We have some light shows near us down at Theme Park where they're clearly doing the same thing I'm doing. You can see a lot of the same components, but they have probably tens of thousands or couple $100,000 worth of budget when I see what they're doing compared to doing something in just our house.
Sure. So is this going to be a side business for you then?
It is not going to be a side business. Although I hired, what you mentioned, I had permanent lighting, and I hired a person to install the lights, and he thought it was actually a lot of fun. And I think he made as much money doing that as he did from a normal, he might have made more money doing this than doing a normal job. So, if there's anybody out there who wanted to start a side business kind of doing this, I think it'd be very possible, but it's not in my future.
So what advice would you have? I know you made some mistakes, but you also made a lot of good decisions. What advice would you have for someone who does want to start out, something you learned that they might not, intuitively know until they get into it?
Yeah, I think a couple thoughts. One is you're never going to figure it out until you do it. So I think if you're interested, you got to just, get started, and you will figure out a lot that way. There's like with any of these hobbies, there's a lot of information online, but there's no, just follow these 6 steps and you're done. You really got to kind of get started, figure it out yourself. And I think the other is, while you might think that you're saving money by buying the slightly cheaper LEDs, when you either run into more failures or when you discover that the cheaper LEDs requires 30 minutes per string to cut the ends and solder the correct end on, a few dollars
soldering.
more might make more sense rather than a few more hours of your own time soldering things together.
I'll pay all the money to not have to solder.
Mm.
That's so. That does sound real DIY then if you're getting into soldering and stuff. But there are solutions where you have clips and things that you can avoid the soldering.
Yeah. I think if you buy the little bit more kind of the full package from some of these small companies, you can probably avoid at least some of the soldering. But I wouldn't do this if you weren't ready to get your hands dirty, get your soldering iron out, get a good pair of wire strippers, because you're going to be
yep, for sure.
This isn't 3 wires and you're done. This is kind of a big project, and we've done a lot of construction things as well, where you're building stands for things, you're building these all kinds of things. So, but you can go big, you can go small. So really, you don't need all this to get started. It just depends how much you and your family get into it if you want to build something bigger.
Yeah. So what's your favorite element you've built so far for either the Halloween or the Christmas show?
I think the big screen that I mentioned above the garage is one of my favorites. It was certainly the hardest thing we did. We had to do a bunch of figuring out how to make it come together, program some things, and it's a pretty fantastic result. Like, people from the street will say, "Oh, you have this TV above your garage," and it's not a TV, but we're able to play little videos on it, and it's pretty spectacular. And then for Halloween, we have you'll see in the video, if you see one of our videos, that we have this like singing spooky tree, which is pretty fantastic as well.
Oh yeah.
And it's this giant, like, it's probably 8 feet tall and 6 feet wide or something, made out of this corrugated plastic material. And so in order to make it, we had to buy a bunch of metal conduit and figure out how to bend it. And my 7-year-old at the time, was probably 5, like, helped me get that all bent and everything. And it came together really well. So that's probably my favorite thing we've built.
It looks great. So let me ask you about the syncing of the music. Are you just blaring speakers out to your neighbors and annoying everybody all the time, or how is it syncing to the music?
So the syncing happens, like, we actually have, I think we have 5 or 6 controllers that are all connected over Wi-Fi or over wired Ethernet. You really want to use wire, not Wi-Fi, just to get a more reliable signal.
Our audience definitely knows about Wi-Fi versus wired.
Yeah,
yes, for sure.
You want wires. So over Ethernet, and so there's a primary controller which is sending the signals out, and so all the controllers are synchronized that way. And then in order to get the music, we actually, in the garage, I have both kind of in our setup panel, I have both a little amplifier that I bought on Amazon with some outdoor speakers that you can use to play the music. So for Halloween especially, we'll play the music during trick-or-treating. And then for as it gets colder, we have a little low-power FM transmitter, so you can listen to 89.5 FM, which is an unused radio station in our area.
89.5.
That's right.
The holiday light station, right? So now,
right, I'll have to get you to do a little intro for our show. So
I will. That was terrible. That was really terrible. Maybe the editor will cut that out because I did a terrible job with that. But you probably won't.
Or maybe we won't cut that out, and it'll be
maybe we won't.
The area
89.5.
That's right.
The holiday light station, right? So now, just embarrass me. That'd be great. No, but that's just a station that's unused, so the FAA is not going to come and take you down.
Well, I hope not. You can buy the little transmitter on Amazon, and I'm sure that it complies with all applicable regulations.
I don't know. Sounds like a felony to me. But okay, so if someone's on the fence about this, like people are like, I don't know, I kind of want to do it, but I'm not sure. What could you tell them that will convince them not to do it?
Oh, it is a lot of work. And not only is it a lot of work, but every year when you put it back up, something doesn't work quite right. And you have to figure out exactly what you did 2 years ago to make that work. So today we have a small little screen that we built that shows the radio station.
Mm-hmm.
And
89.5.
We powered it on, 89.5. We powered it on, and it didn't work. And it didn't work. We didn't know why. So then it's like, well, now I have to take off my water sealing tape, unscrew the screws. Boy, I hope I remember how this thing works. And unfortunately, our hardware had some bugs in it that apparently had crept in over the winter, over the summer.
Actual,
so
actual bugs. So, like, bug. Yeah, it's got a bug. No, actual physical bugs. Yeah, okay.
Actual bugs. They were dead, so we just scrape them away, and then you're good to go. But we had to like reset everything up. And so while it is like most of the stuff goes right back together, no problem. Sometimes one of the things doesn't work, and then, just again, scraping back into your memory, what exactly did I do to make this work is can be a challenge.
You didn't take copious notes while you were building the whole thing so that you'd have it exactly.
No, the documentation that I made for myself is, I would say it's pretty sparse.
Nice. So, okay. So you pack it away every year. Like, is that a complicated process then to get it? Like, I assume the initial setup takes the most time, but getting it set up every year, aside from things going wrong, it's easier than easier, right?
It's
like,
pretty easy. It's pretty easy. We probably spend 3 or 4 kind of half days on the weekends, getting everything set up. It's most of it, you just kind of take apart the bunch of cables and things that you wrap the cables away in the spring and then you pull them back out. And so most of it is kind of plug and play once you've got it set up, and most of the stuff just works.
Nice.
And so, it's a couple hours, a couple days, whatever. But again, it's a good time to get all the kids out there to help us do it. And everybody has a good time, and it feels really good when stuff actually is working and you get the show running.
For sure. Okay. Final question. So what do the neighbors think? Have they moved? Are they running away, or do they enjoy having every light in the neighborhood?
No, the neighborhood response has been overwhelmingly positive, and kind of shockingly so, where we've had people stop by that we don't know who say thank you for doing this for the neighborhood. Thank you for, bringing joy to the holidays. And you're like, well, I just thought this would be kind of a fun project, but but it's really moving actually when people say, I bring my kids here. We come 2-3 nights a week to watch it, whatever. It's pretty neat that how many people like it. During the holiday show, we definitely will have 2, 3, 4 cars out in front of our house a lot of the time in the evenings. But fortunately, we've never had like 100 cars lined up where, we're causing a traffic jam in the neighborhood or anything.
Nice. Yeah. So, and wasn't your house named like one of the houses to see in like in your area in like the newspaper or something like that?
We won the Chanhassen Christmas light show house or something 2 years ago. So that was a pretty big deal. I think we won a $50 grocery store gift card as the winning prize.
Oh, so it's all worth it. That's awesome. Thanks for joining us today. I do appreciate it. I think a lot of my audience is the type of people that would really dig this and possibly want to get into it. So, so I'm going to leave links to your shows. I know you have a YouTube site. What's the name of your YouTube page?
Long Acres Lights is our YouTube channel.
Long Acres Lights. We'll have links to that in the description so you can check that out. It's very cool. Thanks for joining us. And any final thoughts for our audience thinking about doing this?
No, I think it's been a great hobby for us. So we've gotten, as I said, all the kids and the family involved. And, it certainly is something I've seen more and more houses doing this, popping up around, and, I'd encourage it. And, the other thing about it is it's been a really great community. Like, you can reach out to any of the people who are doing it, and they all love to share what they're doing because they're doing it for fun too. And everybody likes to talk about the things that they do for fun. So there's lots of help out there if you want to get started.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the interview with Mike. Thanks again for watching. Thank you to Zooz for sponsoring this episode. And come back next week for another episode of Technical Difficulties. Thanks for watching.